right, y'all. It's time for me to bring in my esteemed guest for today's Reecie Colbert Show. She is Thembisa Mshaka, a versatile, world-class, award-winning creative professional known for her impactful work in writing, music, and media. She founded Mshaka Media and has contributed to notable publications. She's a lead screenwriter for the docuseries Running While Black. She's also worked as a senior advisor copywriter at Sony Music and others, and excelled in voice acting. Thembisa also engages in public speaking, holds advisory roles, and has academic achievements in film producing. She has worked with megastars like Beyonce, Michelle Obama, Jamie Foxx, Wu-Tang Clan, Queen Latifah, Nas, Will Smith, Prince, Spike Lee, and many more, making her a multifaceted creative force. Thembisa, welcome to the Reecie Colbert Show. How you doing, girl?
Oh my goodness, I'm so excited to be on here with you. Yay!
I'm so excited. And you look amazing. Y'all can't see her. Well, actually, this is gonna be, I'm gonna post the video of this after this airs on the show.
Nice.
But for those of y'all on the radio who aren't gonna see the video, she looks amazing. And she has on this fabulous hashtag aging in reverse sweatshirt. And I know that's right, girl. You are aging in reverse.
Hey, this is what we do, okay? Black women never look like their circumstances. Am I right?
Ooh, girl, did you just coin something? Or I'm on the last to hear that.
I wouldn't necessarily take credit for that,
Okay,
but
okay.
Agent in Reverse is one of the pieces from my apparel line, hashtag by T. I just kind of throw what everybody else is thinking on a shirt if I feel like it's vibing with my energy. And so, yeah, you can get those at mshakamedia.com.
Okay, girl. Let me go ahead and add that to my little collection because I feel like I'm aging in reverse. I'm still not 100% coming to terms with my age, because I'm still trying to grasp that next chapter. But
one thing I do say is,
yeah,
all of the wisdom, none of the evidence.
Ooh, I like that too. So let me dive into it because I started following you on social media and I was like, oh my gosh, this woman is the bomb. Like, you are the creative force behind iconic, like literally iconic global ad campaigns. I mean, when you think of the miseducation of Lauryn Hill, before you even think about a particular song, you think about that iconic cover. The same thing with Beyonce, Dangerously in Love. She got the rhinestone top with the jeans. There are so many campaigns that you are behind that we all absolutely know. But I want to start with the basics, and then I want to dive a little bit deeper into one person in particular that you've worked with many times. But for those who are not familiar with the role of a copywriter and how your genius has impacted, and I don't know how humble you are, so I'm trying to make sure I hype it up so that people really understand who I'm talking to. But can you just give us an idea of what exactly that role means and how you've contributed to these global iconic campaigns?
So the campaign writer is the person behind the words, whereas an art director or a design director is the person behind the images, right? From the album cover and the images that you would see on advertising. So those headlines, those labels on stickers, the scripts that you are listening to on radio spots, on television commercials, we're responsible for that campaign work. And the key is to hold the integrity of the artist for the snapshot of this current product that we're marketing, which is their album of the moment.
So the image comes first, the words come first. How does it all play together typically? Or is it?
So the album comes first.
Right.
And then we work together with a pod of creatives, art director, designer, photographer, stylist, all of these different creatives who come together to make the package, the album package. And then once that happens, we start rolling out advertising. So it's a lot different now, but back in the day, we had print advertising. So we would do a lot of print work. There's also the outdoor billboards that you still see. Now, a lot of them are digital kiosks or, transit kiosks and things of that nature. But every little piece of messaging collateral that had to have words on it, I was responsible for that. And during my time at Sony, I was the campaign writer for over 100 campaigns.
Oh, wow.
And some of those folks went on to become very, very big stars. So I'm very grateful and thankful for the part that I played in their success. And I'm so proud of everybody that I've worked with, honestly.
Really, as you should. And I'm sure they're proud of you because, you know, you are an instrumental part in that. I mean, now it's kind of taken for granted the kind of work that really went into cultivating these projects. You know, you didn't have Instagram where somebody has 30 million followers or whatever. You had to kind of pierce through the general public to really get the message out and to really get people excited about a project. So I think that work is so important. And there's one person that you've worked with repeatedly, with this being Hip Hop 50, with this being, you know, the King Godson with his 50th birthday just celebrated. We've got to talk a little bit about Nas because that is a person you worked with so many times. How was that working? What did you, I know you talked about a pod. Is the artist usually a part of the pod or was Nas a part of this pod sometimes?
It depends.
Okay.
Some artists are very hands-on and very, you know, like, we want to be a part of this. Some are really instrumental in the beginning, and then they just kind of say, all right, you guys take from here. In the case of Nas, I worked with him on 8 different campaigns. So it varied depending upon like what was going on in his life and his schedule. But we had to develop a certain level of trust because he wasn't always going to be available. And so at a certain point, you sort of become the voice of the artist in terms of the marketing messaging. And that's the rhythm that we finally got to. I mean, there was a certain point where he decided that he didn't want a voice actor to voice his promos. And that he wanted to do it himself.
Okay.
So, you know, now he narrates these commercials that he does for Hennessy. And, you know, that all started with the 10th anniversary Illmatic campaign where, you know, he decided that he wanted to start voicing his own work. So as the writer for, you know, these campaigns, it's like, well, okay, I have to put this in the way that Nas would say it, right?
Right.
And, you know, if he's comfortable with it, then I know, you know, my work is hitting the mark. So it was great working with him. You know, he's a very thoughtful and intentional artist, and he knows exactly what he wants. And so once, you know, we got into that rhythm, it was to a point where I could text a script to him. He would record it in the studio while he was doing other work, send it back on what was then called the DAT tape, digital audio tape.
Yeah.
And then we would lay it into the commercial. So yeah, it was great working with him.
Oh, that's awesome. I just love to hear that. Cause you know, Nas is one of my favorite rappers. I mean, it's Tupac for me, you know, I'm a Cali girl, but then like Nas is like right there. So.
Oh yeah, no, I totally get it. I mean, as a lyricist, as a poet, you know, he's unmatched.
He really is.
So, you know, I feel you on that. I love Pac as well, being from the West Coast, but you know, working on the campaigns from Nostradamus through to Street's Disciple, I saw such amazing range and diversity in terms of his flow, in terms of his style, in terms of, you know, what he was talking about, the subject matter, just his evolution as a man. You really got that, you know, over the course of that section of his career. And now, I mean, I couldn't be more proud of his brother. Like 6 albums in 3 years with Hit Boy. Like he is still as relevant and as fiery as he's ever been. And so, yeah, he's definitely the king of New York for me.
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, I remember Street Disciple, such an underrated album, but like Sekou's story. And then he was like the alter ego, like Scar, was it Scarlet, or it was a woman basically that he was doing. I mean, just genius, absolutely genius work. But let's get back to talking about you some more. Okay, so you wrote a book called Put Your Dreams First. It's available for Amazon. Y'all go ahead and cop that. And it is like a backstage pass for women looking to break into the entertainment industry. So can you share a timeless piece of advice from the book, and then something that has changed? Maybe it wasn't included in your book, or maybe you had it in the book, but you're like, you know what, that ain't really where the industry is at anymore. So if I could amend it, this is what I would throw out there.
I do actually have plans to amend it because it's going to be hitting its 15th anniversary. I can't believe it came out in 2009, and a lot of the stuff still holds up.
Yeah.
But I do want to update it for 2024. So God willing, I'll be able to make the time and bust that move. As far as a timeless piece from it, I still believe in this idea that work-life balance is a myth. And that what you really want to seek to achieve is work-life function. Okay. You want to put systems in place to be able to be in two places at once when that's impossible. So I have two kids. My son is 23, my daughter is 12. I've been in the industry 32 years, so you can do that math. I had young people that I had to care for during most of that time.
Right.
And if it weren't for the village, if it weren't for family, if it weren't for, being able to communicate with clients, with people that I work with, I wouldn't be able to do both. And what I assert in the book is that even if you're at soccer practice, if you feel guilty about being there and you're thinking about work all the time, are you really at soccer practice? No. Right. So if you really want to be present in the moment for whatever you're doing, you want to put systems in place so that your mind can really be focused on that thing. And I don't think it's about a balancing act. I think it's about making it all work.
I like that. And that translates just across any industry, because I feel like balance makes it seem like if you're not balanced, then you're messing up some kind of way, like you're falling short. And really,
it's stressing yourself out, trying to be on this seesaw tightrope, whatever the case. And so the implication is that it's going to be a struggle, and it doesn't have to be.
I like that. I like that. Okay, and then what would you amend? Like, what would you add in the 15th anniversary edition?
So I would add, and I'm actually thinking seriously about doing this. So if Taylor Swift, if Ava DuVernay, if they see this, let them know I'm interested in interviewing them. I want to do some case studies on some key figures within entertainment.
Okay.
In terms of, the ways that they changed the game and the ways that they've really asserted agency and power as women in the business. And, I think that what Taylor is doing in terms of re-recording all of her masters, it is very, very powerful and important. And I would like to talk to her about that. And, what Ava has done in terms of creating a distribution network and making Hollywood more accessible to Black auteurs is phenomenal. And I think that we need to really take a deep dive into that. They ask her about it in interviews, but she doesn't really get a chance to get granular because she has so many amazing things to talk about. So, those are a couple of the things that I would like to do. I'm also going to try to do a Where Is She Now? Because just about all of the 90s, some women that I interviewed have gone on to do incredible things. Unfortunately, pardon my sniffles, I'm getting over a little bit of a cold after the Renaissance World Tour.
Oh, it's fine.
In Houston.
Yeah, I know.
Shout out to Night 2 for winning the challenge. But yes, unfortunately, we've lost Pam the Funkstress, who was a dear friend of mine and who was a DJ for Prince, toward the end of his career, and, a member of the Coup, the hip hop group, the Coup, based in Oakland. But for the most part, we've got Oscar nominees, we've got, Grammy winners, we've got, people who've just achieved incredible things over this 15-year span. And I want to touch on that as well.
Yeah, I think that'd be great. I mean, obviously, you mentioned Pod, you mentioned, the way Ava DuVernay has this network that she's creating and very deliberately so, which I do appreciate, that people say it out loud, that they're being deliberate about something, as opposed to just like, okay, behind the scenes, before anybody notices, let me go on ahead and let me accumulate some people that aren't normally at the table. So obviously, who's who and who's next. So I will definitely be looking for not just the update on those, but I want to see who you're looking at for the next chapter, because I got my eyes on all the young girls and all that stuff too. I think they're doing amazing things.
Yeah. Some of my favorites in terms of the landscape for women in hip hop are Glam, who is like a writer, lyricist, producer. She's also a percussionist, and she's the daughter of Dangerous Dame, may he rest in peace, and Knick Knack. So she's like hip hop royalty. I also love Rhapsody.
Oh, yeah.
I love Lady London. Like, those are like my favorites right now. So, just like we met over social, like in my head, I'm like, oh my God, and I love her.
Yeah.
Just reminds me of all the great things that women in hip hop bring to the table. And
Mm-hmm.
I was able to meet Rap recently. And so, we've developed a cool rapport, which is really, really nice.
That is nice. I be seeing people on social media. I'm like, oh, I want to be friends with them.
Yeah, and sometimes your favorites disappoint you, but I haven't had that
know.
experience with them. Yeah, everyone's been great.
Well, especially to you. Come on, because if they not acting, if they
I
gonna
mean,
act, come on, put some respect. Like
there's
they need to
part of
be
that.
acting.
There's part, there's a little bit of that. Like,
Yeah,
I want to get this right, but
right.
you'd be surprised. And one thing that I say, Reece, is that I don't know, I can't cuss on here, can I?
Yes, you can. I'm the
Okay.
most cussingest person there is.
Oh, that's right. You are always cussing. So, and I try not to, but so what I say is that, the people who shit on people, they never remember that they shitted on those people. It's the people that they shitted on who remember how foul that experience was, right?
Right.
And how much it took to get the stink off of them and that impact, that it left them with.
Right.
And so you'd be surprised at how people will really do that and just keep it pushing. And then forget and then come back around and then run into that person that they did dirty. And it's like, oh, they didn't forget. You might have, but they didn't.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And so I'm big on keeping the karma currency clean because your name is your relationship,
right.
Tool in terms of like who you're able to connect with, what differences you're able to make, what needles you're able to move, and I love that you talk so much about the power of politics and culture, right? And so, I really am mindful of that. And I take stock of folks who, act all whatever with me. It's like, okay, noted.
Right. I know that's well, being in politics, it is a contact sport. So I have ruffled many of feathers. Luckily, I ruffle feathers on the winning team. So it's a little different when you're on the winning team and you piss some people off because it's like, well, winners don't have to apologize. Okay, girl, we are almost out of time, but I do have to ask you one last question. What is next for you?
So I'm working on a docuseries with the iconic celebrity makeup artist Ashinta Sharif. It's too much detail about it here, but working on that with her. It's also going to have a coffee table book companion. So, there is going to be something about the culture and hip hop and beauty, and it's going to be super, super dope. So I'm excited about that. I was inducted into the Bay Area Hip Hop Archives on Hip Hop's birthday in
congratulations.
Yes, thank you. So looking forward to building the archive out with Mr. Jahi and just putting in some of that ephemera, like old advertising, flyers, articles, all of these things that help to preserve the culture and really keep the record straight about who did what, as an advertising writer and as an executive who's been behind the scenes in a time when you were supposed to be wallpaper and you weren't supposed to be trying to post and share about everything, right? And when expression was valued, a lot of people don't even know that role exists, much less that I'm in it. But because of the evolution of hip hop, the question has come up and it's like, oh yeah, that was me.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
So
that's what we're talking about
happening.
Yeah.
And, I count it all joy, but it's important for people who did the work to get the credit. And so, that's what's next is really the preservation of my work through the archive as well.
I love that. It's not just preservation. Some people are getting recognition for the first time.
Yes.
Even after, if we're 50th years and we're still finding out that certain people were behind certain things that weren't credited at the time. So I'm so happy for the work that you continue to do. And I just think you're amazing. And I'm so glad that the Reecie Colbert Show listeners have gotten a chance to hear more about you, Thembisa. So thank you so much for joining. And you're welcome to come back anytime.
Thank you, Reecie. Keep doing your thing, sis. I really appreciate your voice in the space. You're amazing.
Thank you.